Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Geetha Nadarajan. Extremely pleased to meet you of Astro AWANI. Okay, let's get on with the slides for today. Our session is about consumer and market research. So allow me to open the slide for you. Okay, before we begin, let's check whether you're in the right session. Consumer and market research, enhancing customer acquisition and loyalty with analytics, with special focus on SMEs and SMIs. How would you implement analytics? For this session, I look forward to have your participation by questions or any comments or remarks you may have in the chat box that is prepared that you can access. Or if you would like to speak up to me as well, you may do so. But I would consider that to read your chat questions in the chat box, I will have to wait until the end to do it because I want the slides will be preventing me from going to the chat box. But if you'd like to speak to me, feel free to do so throughout the session. Yes, else, if it's chat box, I will answer the questions at the end of the session after I finish my slides, okay? So a little bit about me. I was an active data science practitioner here with more than 15 years experience, actually working very much in the corporate scene, primarily in telecommunications industry, financial and education, Asia, as well as North Asia. So I've worked with Unitel Mongolia. I've worked also with Astro on anti-money laundering groups in Citigroup transaction services. But now I'm more focused on a startup space where I'm working on Jinga. It's a growth portal which actually supports talents and companies such as SMEs and SMIs to transition into the digital space and to be more data driven, right? So that is my current focus now. And I'm also a business mentor in Magic. So I've met many SMEs and SMIs who have come back with many questions about their businesses, on their business model, on their customer data and stuff like that. So I have a lot of those discussions in this Facebook group. So you can just search me up, Jinga Data Science Facebook group, and you can join that Facebook group. And you'll be able to get in touch with me if you have any further questions after the session as well, right? So I have a group of community here, so you can join me there. So with that experience of being an SME myself in the startup space, and also having the experience of working with corporate in terms of data, right? Like 10, 15 years ago, yeah, corporate used to have large groups of customers that they need to analyze, and then they build their campaigns and their products around. But today, as SMEs become more digital, right, like ourselves, we need to be digital so that we can connect to our customer, especially in this current COVID times. We use a lot of electronic point of sale, we use social media marketing. We are also on e-commerce platforms like Shopee, Lazada. We allow e-payments by our customers as well. So even restaurants today are taking wallet payments, right? This is considered e-payments. So what happens is that there are many sources of data, right? These are all sources of data that these SMEs and SMIs across all industry, whether it's food and beverage, whether it's education, are actually having about customers, about their customers. They also have a lot of data about their business today and also about their employees. So what happens here is that because of your use of tools, right? Like using a lot of SMSs, we use a lot of emails to connect to our customers, we chat, we use mobile apps, we use payment systems, we use e-commerce platforms. So what happens is that we have a lot of data coming to us, even as SME, not just corporate. So we're talking about if you have a website, you should be able to see what's your customer traffic on that. If you have a mobile app that you're using to deliver your food, like Food Panda and all that, that's also data on where's your customer, what is your customer buying. So this is all considered transactional data. And how is the customer interacting with you? Are they interacting with you through phone, WhatsApp, or is it phone calls? Is it emails? Is it through the system itself? Like in Shopee, you can put in customer testimony, and this is all considered interaction, right? And you can also know about the customer demographic. Demographic here means the age, the gender, the location of the customer. This is all considered demographic. Whichever platform you have your business on, you should be able to get some or most of the data today, right? Especially with the COVID, as I mentioned, more and more tools are being used by business. And this is where the potential for SMEs to do a lot of custom analytics comes, right? And the intention here is what, with the data that we have about our customers, about our business, what do we do with it? What can we do with it? Can we understand our customers better using that data? Can we understand our business strengths and weaknesses better? Can we know about our employees better? Can we know about ourselves as the business owner better? So, what happens is that a lot of these questions now can be answered with the data that you have collected so much over your tools that you're using for your business. That is where the potential of analytics is today, in the heart of that. Because going digital is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. And once we go digital, data flows naturally. And analytics is something you can't avoid anymore, because you need to make a lot of the data driven decisions so that your product's better, your customer satisfaction is better, right? So that will be the basis for the for why SMEs need to be looking at more data. So I'll be going into the specifics on the key sources of data here. But before I do that, we need to understand what is the reason for us to do data analytics. What are the questions that we need to answer? Now, the questions is very important in analytics, right? We don't just go digging data without questions. You got to have some questions first, then you go and look at the data to see if you can find some answers, right? That is the nature of analytics. That is the fundamental of analytics. You have to have questions first, then you go and see the data for it. So in analytics, we have a simple question called descriptive question. Now, descriptive question is something like, what's happening in my business? Is my revenue up? Is my customers happy? No, those are all basic questions, right? We need to have an answer to. So what do? We look at our sales data, right? What's happening in my business? What happened last week? How much sales did I make? Right? So this is a basic descriptive question, which is the first level of analytics. Then the second level of analytics is, okay, if the customer satisfaction last week was down, why? Why did it happen? So you got to dive deep. You got to drill down and find out from the data you have about the customer complaint as to why that customer was not satisfied. So you got to go diagnostic, we call it. So that is second level, higher level. So we are going up. We're going up this way. So first is descriptive, which is the first basic level question. What is happening? Second level is diagnostic. Why it is happening? You got to find out the why. If your revenue is down, you compare week on week, your numbers are down. You got to ask the question, why did that happen? When you ask the question, then you go and find the answer as to why that is happening, right? But first, the question is first. You have to have that question in your mind. Then the third type of question, which is the higher level, is called a predictive question. Meaning, okay, so I know that customer satisfaction is low. Next diagnostic, I know the customer satisfaction is low because they feel that they didn't get rewarded. And then the third level is, who are the customers I can predict who is not going to be happy, right? So it is something like you predict. Predict means, okay, based on a customer who was not happy last time, I think these customers will not be happy in future. So you think about the future. So when you think about the future, is that whatever you learned about your past customer, you use for your future. That is the predictive part of it, right? So that you do not repeat the same mistakes, or you do not repeat the same strategy. Okay. And then the third is your strategy itself. So now that you know who are the customers who are going to be not happy, what are we going to do about it? What do you need to do? Are you going to give better offers, better product, better bundles? That is prescriptive. So analytics has got these key four stages that we need to be aware of for us to start asking questions about our business, right? So first, what's happening? Two is why it's happening. Predictive is what is going to happen. And prescriptive is what am I going to do about it, right? So when you have this kind of questions, you have a reason to look into the data that you have, right? The data that you get from your customer, the data you get from your business, the data you get from your employees to help you answer these questions. You know, all of us are SMEs, right? We know that we have so many questions, but very little time, right? So what do we want to do is we want to be able to focus. So if we talk about focus, if you ask me, what are the four things every business must look at to grow and do better? First is, do you use a point of sale, right? Point of sale in your business, whether you're a physical outlet, cash register. Those days it used to be physical, isn't it? Like you press the button and then cash register. Today, in restaurants, small restaurants, they use this tabs to click on what is the item and how much that the item cost. That is called the point of sale. Physical outlets, all of them have today electronic point of sale, meaning that it's all captured into the systems, right? It's not just a manual cash drawer anymore. So from here, you will know exactly, right? What time the customer came to pay. For example, if it's a restaurant, what time the customer walked in to pay for his food. Secondly, how much was his payment? What are the items he ate at the restaurant? So point of sale actually gives you all this data, right? And whether you have a physical shop or an online shop, you still need a point of sale, right? You need to know how much sale you make, because that's the number which tells you how much sale you make. So point of sale. And today, every businesses exist in Shopee and Lazada as well, right? So if you are on these platforms as a fashion outlet, you have a shop in Zalora, or if you are selling household items and your shop is in Lazada or Shopee, or you have a restaurant and you have a food panda ability to deliver food. All these are considered e-commerce platforms. These platforms, what they do is when you open your shop there, people can buy from you there, people can browse your customer testimony and all that, right? And they decide to rate you there. These e-commerce platforms, when customers interact with the merchants, they also have a lot of data that you need to look at as an SME who has a business there, right? So there's so much of data there, right? E-commerce can tell you how many customers bought from you, where's their location from. There's so much data coming in from e-commerce as well. So you need to look at that. Then we have the third element, which is very important for many SMEs today that they're already doing a lot, also is digital marketing. So digital marketing, I will go into the details in the next few slides. So here I'll just give you an overview of the four main business data that you are already involved in that you should take note of to understand your customer, business, and employees better, right? Now, digital marketing means if you have a Facebook business page, if you have a LinkedIn business page, or you have a Instagram business page, or a TikTok, if you do advertising in TikTok and you have a TikTok account, then you are doing digital marketing. Almost 100% of SMEs are doing social media marketing today, but probably only 20% has a website, right? .com website or a .my website. But all this is considered part of digital marketing. So if you already have a Facebook business page, do you look at the Facebook insights? How many business owners actually look at their Facebook insights or their Instagram analytics or their TikTok analytics to understand what time does people, users come on to see your post? How many like your post? How many like your page? Is it going up on a weekly basis? Right? Do people like your videos? Do they share the videos? Those questions, right? The sales and marketing questions, because Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are all meant as your marketing channels, right? They are like your automated marketing agents, and they're supposed to go out and get you customers. But you need to monitor if those channels are really working for you, right? So many businesses post a lot of content, but they don't really look at the insights to understand what are the users they're getting. So most of the time they say, oh, digital marketing doesn't work, right? Because they never look at the data most of the time. So when I talk to many SMEs, this is the scenario that happens a lot. They assume that when you post a content, that's it. You just leave it as it is. No, you got to keep revising it based on what customers like. Do they like videos better? Do they like photos better? Okay, so that's the third element. And the last element is about customer relationship management. Now, customer relationship management is CRM, right? So, CRM is not just meant for corporates. SMEs today have to also be customer oriented and manage the relationship, for the reason that competition is very stiff out there. When going digital is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. So almost 80%, like almost 100% of SMEs and SMIs are attempting to go digital by being on e-commerce platforms, by having Facebook channels, right? But what differentiates them is the way the relationship is with their customers. Is there loyalty? Is there retention? That is very important, right? It's very expensive to get a new customer every single time, right? Because you got to throw in a lot of offers. But if a customer that likes and have already purchased your product, keeping them with the offer is a lot cheaper compared to getting a new customer. And that is where your CRM is meant to help you know your customer better, know what is the interest of your customers, the needs of your customers, and for you to do better offers and better products for those customers and to keep them with you as your brand ambassador or as your loyal customer, right? So getting a customer today may not be a bigger challenge compared to customer loyalty. So with that, I will go into further details of each of this item. Now, I have identified an example here for a point of sale, the kind of data when we collect it or that comes from your tools, from your systems. It can be Salesforce, any systems that you use. In this example is your physical store. If you have a physical fashion outlet or a restaurant or a stall, right, you have sales, right, on a daily basis. Okay, so when you look at sales on a daily basis, you may not understand what's happening with your business. So what you need to do is you need to group the data, right? So when you compile and look at the weekly data or monthly data, you can understand what's happening to your business and to your customers better compared to just leaving it as a daily data. So you may decide to do this in Excel, right? So I would say that today, if you do not use any tool, then you should use Microsoft Excel to do your compiling of tables and charts for your sales on weekly basis, right? What do you sell on weekly basis? But if you have a tool, right, like e-payment or wallets, like people pay you through Touch and Go or pay you through QR pays, then you should get some data from there to understand about how your business is doing. So an example here is like this particular business have got 14 branches in total, and they sell 6 category of products. There are 57 products that they carry. There are around 110 brands. They have about 5,163 customers. And this is the monthly transaction, 10,443. So this is like an overview of what happened in that week, for example, right? It's like a summary. So here is the sales summary. So from here, you know that, oh, okay, my total sale is 55 million. My average sale is 3,000. And these are the number of products which were returned. And this is the amount that was returned. So very simple, very straightforward. This is the first level of analytics, the descriptive statistics. What's happening to your business? This is how you show what's happening to your business, right? So you need to know what's happening to your sales, what's happening to your shops. So like you can do a store summary. They do it by store. So how many sales per square feet? They got 1,000 sales per square feet. How many basket size is that? Like people walk in, how many things did they buy and put in their basket that they check out? Almost 1.5 things, like 1.5 is almost 2 things. How many people walk into the store? Oh, 32 people walk in per day. So how many of them actually buy from you? Conversion means out of the people who walk in, 32 people, how many actually bought from you? 57%. Meaning 57% of 32 people walked in buy. They don't walk out. 57% actually buy. They don't walk out empty-handed. That's a very good number actually, right? Don't we all want that? People come in, walk in, see our store, and then buys, right? So this is what's happening to the business. So you get an overview, right? You understand, oh, this is what's happening to my business. Okay. So which product is selling the most? Home appliances is selling number one. Number two is TV. This is by amount because, of course, we got to see the sales from amount side and also quantity side, right? That way we know which brings in more money and which one brings in more quantity. You need both, right? As a business. And so we check both the summary. Oh, home appliances is by amount. But if you look at quantity, the small home appliances is what's the number of people buying is highest. And then the accessories for television. So you know specifically about what's selling and what is not selling, your top product. So as a business, we need to know which product of ours is doing very well, which product of ours is not doing well at all, right? So this is the first level of analytics, right? Descriptive, what's happening. Then if you have an online store like in Lazada or Shopee, now you need to look at the numbers in Shopee because like Lazada, Shopee, all of them have their business center. So in the business center, you can look at key metrics. You don't have to generate it yourself. They provide it to you, right? So you can look at the sales, you can see what number of orders you have, what is the conversion rate. Conversion rate means people come to add your product to the cart, right? But how many people actually check out? I think all of us know we are all customers ourselves. When we browse a store, we will add to cart many. Then we will go to the checkout counter, we will remove so many, or we may take the whole basket, right? So that's conversion. Conversion means how many of the one added to the cart became actual purchases, right? So this very low conversion, 1% only. So only 1% people only check out 1% of their cart, right? So how much sales do you make per order? 133 ringgit. You had about 740 visitors to your shop. And how many people viewed your page? 1,400 page. So from these numbers, this line, you can see, is it up or is it down, your number of sales and your visitor, right? So here I can see that my sales is pretty stagnant, but my visitors number is going up and my page view is going up, meaning that probably what's happening is looking at this data, I can make an assumption that, oh, people sort of like to come to my shop, but then they're not buying, right? And why could that be? That's probably because your offers may be not attractive, or you need to throw in some bundle offers or some seasonal offers, or your price, something like that. So you can test offers from this. So it gives you insight, right? This is what we want. We want to understand the data so that we know what to do for the business, right? Today, it is no longer that you can or cannot do it. It have to be done because a lot of competition out there. And if you don't understand your customer or your sales through your data, then we may make wrong decisions based on experience or gut feel, right? That's what we don't want to do. That's what analytics is meant to do. Look at all the data that you have coming from your tools, all right? So this is e-commerce. Whichever e-commerce platform you're on, whether it's Foodpanda, GrabFood, Shopee, Lazada, all these platforms have their own insights and analytics, and which you need to look at the numbers to understand what's happening. All right. Now, next we are moving into customer relationship management. Okay. Now, customer relationship management. My first question always is: do you know your customer? Number one question. Do you know your right customer? Meaning, if you have a product like, let's say, rock salt lamp, right? I have a product called rock salt lamp, Himalayan rock salt lamp. I have a product. Now, this product, who is the right customer for my product? I need to know that first. Then I know whether what kind of offers and what kind of marketing, content, videos, images I can create for that customer. So when we have a product, we have to understand who's the right customer for our product, and that is what we call a customer persona, right? So customer persona is actually the profile of your target key customer. And where do you know, how do you know this? Well, if you have been running your business for some time now, you should have some customer data already. You should have made some observation about your customers. You may have spoken to them. You know where they live. You know whether they're a family or they live in a single home, or they are students, or they are, so you should have some observation about your customers who usually come to your store. And based on that is what is data. The data can be your observations as well about your customer. So based on that, you have to build a persona. That means who's the right customer for me, right? If I'm selling the Himalayan rock salt lamp, I'll probably look for a couple who are coming from a mid-range family in city area, or probably going for, let's say, tai chi classes, yoga classes, or some kind of a wellness thing, because this is more related to wellness kind of industry. Yeah. So then we know how we fit the need of our customer, how our product fits the need of their customer, right? And then we can devise the right strategy. If we don't know our own customer, our key customer, then how are we going to know what is the right content for that customer, right? So you got to build a persona like this. Like this person here is an example. He's in the 30s. He has a busy life as a professional. He's married, but they like to travel a lot, right? And when they travel, they like to visit cafes. They don't like to go to historical buildings and stuff like that, but that's this particular customer persona. So he loves to go to cafes because he loves coffee, right? And his purchasing behavior is he likes to shop online, but he always go and checks out the product first in the shop before he decide to buy. And his media habit is that he likes to read a lot of magazines. He doesn't like to read newspapers as much, more magazines and more online magazines. So when you choose where to advertise for this kind of customer, then you will know based on his persona that you should probably go for magazines, right? And his characteristic is that he's a coffee lover. He's very trend sensitive. It means he follows the trend quite a lot. So based on this information, you can have a rough idea of what are the right offers you can make, what are the right kind of campaigns you can do, where is the channels you should suggest, you should promote, right? Facebook and social and Instagram doesn't work for every business. It depends on your business and your customer. All right. So that is the first step in customer relationship management, is to know your customer. Right? Then the next step is, now that you know your customer better, right? You know their name, right? Even if you don't know today, you can put in some kind of a campaign to give some offer to get their names and email addresses, right? So that way you can know your customer, right? So in this second part of CRM, I'm talking more about customer value and loyalty. So now that you know your customer, how to get them to be loyal with you if they are valuable, because not all customers are made equal. Thus, rewards and loyalty maybe shouldn't be too, right? So every customer who walks into our shop, whether online and offline, are not the same. Some spend more, some spend less, some come very often, some come once in a while, some spend more, some spends less, right? So that is what we call RFM. RFM is a technique in analytics that we use to understand our customer better. Very simple for us to understand this. R means recency. How recently the customer came? Last week? Yesterday? Last year? So we know already. Is he very frequent? Then the next one is frequency. Does it come every week or during Christmas time, during Hari Raya, right? Does it only come during seasonal times? So you understand his frequency already. Next is monetary. So every time he comes, how much does he spend? Meaning, what kind of products does he buy? Are they high value products or not so high value products? Does he buy the accessories? He doesn't buy the laptop, right? So you got to see the monetary. So this is a small example I've given you. So if you know the customer name, you can see on a monthly basis how much he spent with you, how recently he came to your shop, online or offline, and how many times he already come this month. So based on these three details, you can say customer good, medium, right, or poor. Good means customer very high monetary, always come, spends a lot on a monthly basis, right? So that means his RFM is very high. If the customer spend very high but comes once a year, that one is another. That's the second level, medium maybe, right? And then the poor is probably they come often but they spend very little. So you have three segments already here now. So based on these three segments, you can do a offer, right? So when you decide good customer, medium customer, poor customer, this is very basic, based on RFM, how much they spend with you, how often they come, right? You can do different offers. So for a customer who comes back on a regular basis, then you give him higher reward, like a premium membership, right? If the customer is someone who comes once a year, maybe you can do a campaign to make him come back more often. Like rather than once a year, you give like some kind of offer, like a quarterly basis, like upcoming offers like CNY offer or Women's Day offer or Father's Day offer, right? Because you know this person comes for seasons because maybe he needs gifts for his family and friends, right? So he needs some kind of seasonal offer. So you can do offers like that for that group of customers. Another group of customers who is probably poor, meaning that they come often but they don't spend much, then you can give them something like a welcome series. You get a discount if you buy this. So they get to spend more, but then they get a discount. So they feel happy about it. So if you have three groups of customer, if you can break your customer into three groups, then you can do your offers for these three groups of customers, right? So CRM is basically very simple, not very complex. It is all about you knowing your customer better and then grouping this customer into good, medium, and then poor, so that you can do your campaign offer for group one, offer for group two, offer for group three, right? Yeah, so that is the way we try to do customer relationship management with the most strategic strategic angle to it, right? Strategic technique to it. So, so that was about loyalty and customer value. Now, now that we know that if we group the customers into groups, right? Not all customers can be a happy customer. I mean, all of us try to get very happy customers. You know, I'm a business owner myself, so I know that it's impossible. You can't make everyone happy all the time, right? So, but we still need to find out who is happy, who is satisfied, and who is not satisfied. And we also have to remember that not all satisfied customer is a loyal customer. Very important to know that. Okay, studies and even all business owners say the same thing, right? You do surveys, you do like you suddenly do a survey. Oh, please tell me if you're happy with my product or you're satisfied with my product, right? They all say, oh, happy, happy, happy. But then suddenly next month, or they don't buy from you or they're missing. So you wonder, oh, they said they were happy. Then what happened to them? Why didn't they come back? Because satisfaction doesn't mean that they will be loyal. Satisfaction doesn't equal to loyalty. So that is why when you do your survey, whether customer is happy or not, we also have to ask them whether they will recommend your product or service or not. And this is the one way that we will know whether they'll be loyal, right? So this is a very simple chart to ask the customer, right, about the product quality. Usually very simple. You ask about the product, you ask about the price, you ask about the service, right? Every SMEs, SMIs, I know it's very difficult with customers today, but unfortunately, this is one way we have to know about our customers better, satisfied or not, right? Some way. Apart from getting a lot of customer testimony, I know that all of us have received a lot of customer testimonies, customer ratings, all through the platforms. You know, every platform today has got ability to rate. So as businesses, we get rated left and right, isn't it? But this is one way for you to understand whether your customer is satisfied or not, right? And that's the data that you need to look at. But even if they're happy, it doesn't mean they won't leave, right? So we got to ask this big question: how is it? Will you recommend our service to your friend? Green is yes, yellow is neutral, red is no, they won't recommend. So this is the acid test, I would say, right? That we need to do to find out if they will recommend our product or our service to their friend. From here, you know how many loyal customers you will have, right? So apart from knowing how satisfied the customer is, we also need to understand whether they will recommend our service to their family. And this is what loyalty is. This is the way you know whether your customer is loyal or not. Simple question: will you recommend me? Right? This is what we call the net promoter score. Corporates use this a lot. If you notice, if you see your banks, your telcos, right, they always ask you this question: will you recommend us? All right. And then you answer yes or a no or a neutral to it. So SMEs and SMIs like ourselves, we also have to do the same to find out. It's just a single question, like a survey we do with our customer and look at the data. We can do this on a quarterly basis, like every 3 months you do a survey, right? Okay, so the next goes on. This is the last part of the analytics. Key sources of data that you need to look at as a SME or SMI is digital marketing. Like I said, everyone today has a Facebook business page, Instagram page, TikTok. So, but there's still a lot of frustration about why is my digital marketing not working, although I pay so much for my Facebook ads, for my Instagram ads, and all so on and so forth. That is the question. That's $1 million question there. Okay, because SMEs don't understand that whatever money that we put into Facebook ads and Instagram ads and TikTok ads, There is a journey behind it. All right? We need to understand there's a journey. Any type of campaign that you do on social media, you need to plan it around a customer journey. Customer journey means how customer decide to buy your product or services at the end of the day, right? All of us are customers also. First, we need to understand, aware about the brand. We are strangers, right? So how do we know about a particular brand X? Suddenly this brand X has got a shop now, right? How do we create awareness? How can people know us that we are here or that we are new and we are doing this and this is our product and services? So you need to create awareness first, right? So you need to create awareness for your product, for your brand, right? And how do you do that? By creating a lot of educational materials on your Facebook pages. Put a lot of videos, put a lot of write ups about your product, about your services, your description about your products and services to educate and create awareness, right? That's number one. We can't expect a potential customer to buy a product they don't know about, right? Or they don't understand about, or they don't know about their company. Neither would be, right? So that is the awareness creation that needs to happen. So when you go in to do your advertisement into any of the social media platform, you need to choose. The platform will ask you, do you want to do awareness? Do you want to do engagement? They will ask you, right? So you got to choose awareness if you want to do a paid ad, a paid advertising, right? Whether you do it or free or you do it paid, you need to choose awareness if your brand is a new brand in the market. All right. Then if you've been around for a long time, your Facebook page already got 10,000 likes, right? People like your page already, people are aware of you. But many SMEs also complain about, oh, I have 10,000 likes on my page. But then when I put a video onto my page, only one person like it or five people like it. Then that is the problem of engagement. Engagement means people like your page for the purpose of liking it, but they don't engage with you to look at your content or your offer. They don't click, they don't ask you question, they don't share on your post, right? They do nothing. That means the engagement rate is very low. Without engagement, you cannot get conversion or purchase. That is the reality in any customer journey. Customer have to be interested first, right? First, customer know about you. Next, customer has to show interest that they are interested in knowing more about your product. So how do they show that? Online, right? They show it by clicking comment or share or click like on your post, isn't it? That's the way they show that they're engaging with your brand and interested, right? So that's where you have to do a lot of advertisements like click through rate, you look at the cost per click, you look at the engagement rate, likes, and all that. Is it going up on a weekly basis or going down, right? If you don't get good engagement, it's very difficult to get purchases. This is the conversion part, right? So if you get high engagement, chances of you getting high purchase is also there. So if 10,000 people like your page, you need to do a campaign because you say that number of people liking my post is very small. Only 1% like my post, but I got 10,000 people. So what you need to do is you need to run a campaign to create engagement on the platform. So you can choose engagement, right? You want to increase the number of likes. So that is engagement. Then when you do that campaign, you may get a lot of people coming in to like your page more. Let's say another 5,000 people come in from your paid advertising. So then you get 15,000. So now purchase intention is out of the 15,000 people, let's say maybe 100 actually engage with you, ask you about the products. And out of the 100, let's say 10 buys from you. So your conversion is 10%. Your engagement rate is 1%, less than 1%, but your purchase intention is, your conversion is 10%. That means out of the 100 people who engage with you, 10 bought the product with you. That is purchase. So you need to increase the number a bit and more. Out of the 100 people who ask about your product, if you can get a 50 of them to actually buy from you, that is a better number compared to only 10, isn't it? So we always have to keep watching this. How can we throw offers to improve our conversion rate? Get more and more people to engage with us, get more and more people to buy from us. So we got to watch these numbers, and all these numbers is given in the platform itself, whichever social media platform you use. They give you the numbers, but most of us don't look at those numbers. We just put in money, and we think it fails if we don't get the kind of sales we expect. So we got to be more realistic here to think that we need to set a goal. Digital marketing is something where it is some which takes time because it's a very crowded space. So it takes time, right, for you to see results from your campaigns. Sometimes the content also not very good. Some videos are not good, some images are not good, right? So then difficult to get conversion too, right? But we need to watch this, right? It's a continuous looking at the data. Continual looking at the data is very important so that we can understand what's happening to my marketing campaign, right? So once your customer purchase, you don't stop there. You got to look at who is this customer? Are they coming back and buying from me again or not? This is where we talk about retention. Are you creating offers for your old customers to buy again from you, right? Like I said earlier, it's a lot cheaper to actually get the customers who purchased from you to buy again from you compared to creating awareness all the way with the new customer, right? So if you have 100 customers who purchased from you, try to retain 50% of them at least. 50 to 60% of the customer buy again from you. That is loyalty, right? And they become like your brand ambassador. They also can recommend you to your friends and family. Word of mouth is good, right? That's how you get referrals and do referral campaigns, right? So that is the entire customer journey we have to understand. And this journey is not possible if you don't look at the data in the platform, right? So it's very important for us to look at the data to understand how we can do the campaign better and better to get customers to create awareness, become engaged with us, purchase with us, and then keep coming back to us. All right? So this journey is something we need to be aware for every single campaign we do. So when we look at the, like I mentioned earlier, it's very important for you to look at the numbers if you have a page, whether it's Facebook business page, Instagram business page, TikTok business page. You need to understand what is your customer behavior, how are they responding to your product, your campaign, your offers, by looking at the insights section in every page you have. And you have to do this on a weekly basis. I know time is a problem for all of us as a business owner, but it's inevitable. Without looking at these numbers, we don't know if you're doing good. Because in the insights column in all the social media, they will tell you what is your reach like, what is your engagement like, what is your number going up, your page like is going down or going up. You know, all these numbers are data and analytics. They've already done the analytics. You just have to look at it and make decisions, right? So you know what time the customer comes to your website, your Facebook page. Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Is it evening? Right? So here you can see that towards the evening, number of people coming onto the page is higher compared to the other part of the day. So what I can do is I can create a content and publish it during evening because I know I will get better traffic and engagement if I do it in the evening, right? So I can time my content post and post at the time my customers are usually. All these details are in your insights page. So you can see, like in this example, like one of them have got very high reach but very low engagement. right? Because like 11,000 looked at the post, right? But only 400 engaged. Only 400 people out of 11,000. Very, very small percentage. Engagement rate very low. The reach is very high. So that means it's more of an educational. People are aware now. But engagement, they're not engagement yet. They're not interested yet. They all know about our presence, about this business, but they're not interested yet. So you need to create interest. That's where the engagement comes in. All right. And lastly, is for those of you who have a website, right? I think some of us do have a website. And if you do have a website, do not just create a website and then leave it. You got to constantly look at the numbers also. So this is where Google Analytics cookies, you need to embed them into your website so that it can tell you what's happening to your website. How many people came to visit your website today? How long they stayed on your page? How many of them bought from you? Did they come through mobile phone or did they use their desktop? All right. And it can tell you bounce rate. Bounce rate means people come to one page on your website. After that, they bounce off already, meaning they were not interested to go to the next pages, right? Most of the time, we want to reduce the bounce rate, right? That means the content not interesting on the website. So people not interested, they bounce off. So we got to monitor all this, right? And we got to update our website to ensure that it's interesting and also optimized. Most of the time, the problem with websites is they are not optimized. Optimized means today all of us are not patient to wait for the page to upload, isn't it? To refresh. So if it doesn't immediately refresh, we tend to leave. Oh, this is very slow website. I can't wait, right? Most of us don't have patience, right? So that's what we need to make sure we optimize our web page. Apart from having good content, don't have too many videos, then your website will be not as optimized as well. So you got to look at your website whether it's good or not, right? And how many devices they. Well, some of you may have e-commerce option as well in your website where people can click and then buy straight away, right? So if you do that, then you can know revenue also, how much revenue you're getting. Is it through people buying from the desktop or buying from the mobile phone, right? So Google Analytics actually gives you a lot of reports as well. And you need to have an account when you do the website, right? So it's like a cookie, you plant it into your website so they can track your numbers. And you have to look at these numbers on a weekly basis to have a better understanding of how your website is doing. Just like running a shop, right? When we run a shop, we have to know the numbers on a regular basis. This is an online shop, same thing as offline shop. We have to always look at the numbers so that we understand whether we are doing good, what is happening, why is it happening, what can we do better. All right. So with that, that will be the end of my slides. Now I'll be very happy to answer any questions that you may have in regards to my presentation today. Any questions anyone has? Okay. Hello. Okay. I can see the questions now. All right. Okay. Let me tackle one at a time. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, Fazira, e-commerce are Lazada. Yeah, you're right. Lazada and Shopee. Huh. Dropship as well. Yes, correct. Well, ultimately, if you are on any platform, you got to understand that your business better by looking at the numbers. Whether you can improve, how to improve, what to improve, you have to look at the data of how well your business is doing, which product is doing well, which customer, which channel, right? What is the price that's working well? So you can test price, you can test offers, and look at the how customers are reacting by the data that you get, right? So definitely looking at the numbers can give you a lot of idea about what is happening to your business. Yeah. So platforms, very important. We have to look at the numbers to understand that. How to register for this analytic website or app? You mean the Google Analytics? For zero, you're talking about the Google Analytics, right? Yeah. So if you have a website, if you have a .com or a .my or .co, then you can get your website developer to embed the Google Analytic cookie into your website. So when they do that, if you have more than 1,000 people visiting you, traffic more than 1,000, then you can get the numbers out. Less than 1,000, you won't get any Google Analytics report usually. More than 1,000 people visiting your website, then you will get the Google Analytics report. Yes. How can you get customer data from customer? This is survey, right? You can do a simple survey where you create a Google form, right? You can do a Google form, and you can just send the link, or they can fill up a paper or some way for you to collect the data, right? So you can ask, and then you can give them a reward. Okay, if you fill in this link, then I give you like maybe a voucher or a free something. People like this free things, right? So you got to reward them a bit for their data sometimes. Yeah. So either you do a Google form or you do paper survey. I would prefer always Google form. Everything go digital, easier, easy to get data. Okay, Liana. So when you have the link, you just share straight away to them. Everyone can use the same link because Google Form is done in such a way that, or Microsoft Form also, many people can click the same link and answer. It will it will individually analyze for you. No problems. No problems. If you have any further questions, can also always post the questions in my Facebook group as well. You know, you can join that group and then post whichever time you like it in future, next week, or it doesn't matter. Whenever you feel you have a question, you can always reach me there as well. I have posted the link here. Any other questions? Okay, I think we have reached the end of the session, and I've been very happy to do this with you. And firstly, I forgot to wish you Happy New Year. So I hope it'll be all great this year with good blessings. We have moved past the COVID, and if you are still standing as a business, you have done the best, right? I think you are great, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors this year for your businesses. And I look forward to see you in the Facebook group too. Thank you. Have a great year ahead. Bye.